This is so tiny, it's so cute. Hi, my name is Bash Harry and welcome to my channel. In today's video, I am going to show you guys how I did this makeup look, but instead of focusing on products, I kind of want to focus on my tools. How I achieved this look using my brushes, my sponges, etc., and how affordable it is to get a look like this with all the brushes that I've used before. These are my favorites, these are my go-tos, these are the ones that always get dirty no matter what, so I hope you enjoy. So I've already done my brows off screen, but let me touch on my favorite brow tools really quickly. The first one being the Benefit Angled Brush and Spoolie. This is my absolute favorite to do my brows with. In fact, it's the only brush I use for my brows. Because the brush is so stiff, it's really easy to create hair-like strokes and to control the brush so you can create really nice fine details or anything else that you might need for your brows. The spoolie itself is really helpful. I think you should always try to brush your brows with a spoolie just to get a more natural look as well. I know it sounds like a bit of an oxymoron, but it is really helpful, I promise. Another thing I like to use for my brows is a nail art brush. Actually no, I think this is a paintbrush. This is a really cheap paintbrush that I got probably at WW Mart. It came in a pack and I just use it to carve out the brows with some concealer. It's pointed, it's really helpful. Go to your local art store and just get one. Now let's quickly move on to the rest of the face. I'll do my makeup while I talk about these beauty tools just so you can see them in action. So for primer, I always go for my hands. I know some people use brushes. I prefer using my hands just to blend everything out. And I can really feel the product setting into my skin. Just blending it out until I feel everything is smooth and settled into my skin to create a nice barrier. Afterwards, you do want to start on foundation. I don't usually use brushes to apply my foundation, but I do use the Real Techniques pointed foundation brush to kind of apply it if I don't want to use my fingers, if I want to keep them clean. So I like to apply the foundation on the back of my hand, about 1.5 drops. And I take the brush and apply it to my face wherever needed. This is especially helpful to sheer out the foundation if I don't want to look too heavy that particular day. Now I'm going to use my favorite sponge ever, and you know what it is the Beauty Blender. This is a new one that I just got, that's why it looks so clean. Obviously, it's quite expensive. It's about 16 pounds or 30 Singapore dollars. It's quite a splurge item. I don't buy it all the time. Another great dupe is the Real Techniques sponge. I also use that. I think I have 3. And it's a great dupe for the Beauty Blender. But there's something about the Beauty Blender and the formula and the way they make the sponges that makes it amazing to blend out your concealer and your foundation and basically everything. And it shears it out just enough while giving enough coverage for your face. Oh, I love it! But look, it gets so messy though. I usually use the black one, but it wasn't in stock at the Sephora I went to. So you gotta do what you gotta do and just buy the nude. I think the pink one kind of bleeds when you wash it. And I haven't got the nude one yet, so I thought I wouldn't try it out. Maybe I should get the sapphire next. I'm just gonna quickly apply some concealer. Since I already showed you how the Beauty Blender works against foundation, I'm going to show you how the Real Techniques uses against liquid and cream contours and my concealer. So I personally love using sponges to blend out my contour. By comparison to brushes, I think sponges really sheer out the contour, which is what I need sometimes because I know I can get a bit heavy-handed when it comes to products. So I like to take the rounded side and kind of just pat and blend it away. And you can see the difference already compared to when using a brush. I know this looks really weird underneath the eye, but that's because I'm leaving that to dry a bit more so it can expand and have more coverage. I like to blend it out using my Miracle sponge. It's from Real Techniques as well. It comes in a pack of 2, but I lost the other one and it's fine. I like to use it when I want to blend out the inner corners and underneath my eye, just because I feel it's easier to kind of blend and pack in compared to the Beauty Blender and the Real Techniques sponge. I know that the Beauty Blender came out with their own micros, but they're so expensive and they're way too tiny in my opinion. It's great for underneath concealing, but I just need something to cover about that surface. I also like to apply it around the corners of my mouth and nose in case I left any spots that needed to be blended a bit more. I also love to use the sponge to set underneath the eye. I feel like it gets into the crevices really nicely. This is a recent favorite of mine. I think I only bought this year, I think. And I never knew, nor I never cared about why I should get it until now. And I'm probably gonna get a new one once I go back to the UK. To set my face, I use a really cheap brush. In fact, I didn't pay for this brush. It was complimentary in a gift bag. This is the 17 Cheeks powder brush, and I just like to blend some powder away for some light dusting. Sometimes I use a thicker brush, something that's a bit wider and larger, but this one's really nice to kind of just lightly dust away any powder without going too overboard. For highlight, I've got two favorite brushes. This is the Zoeva 129 Luxe Fan Brush and the Real Techniques Setting Brush. Yes, it's a setting brush, but I really like it for highlight because of the tapered ends. This one is your standard fan brush. It's soft, it's nice. I like to apply my highlights with this just to give it an extra glow. For a really precise highlight, you can also use this really nice fine detailed brush. This is from a nail pack. This is a nail art brush. I think they use it to kind of like put glitter or something, I'm not so sure. But if you want a more detailed and defined highlight, you can always take the nail art brush, pack on the color, and just kind of slowly flick it against your skin. And it really gives you a strong, concentrated highlight, especially on the highest points of your cheeks and your face. I don't do this all the time, only when I want like a really nice concentrated glow from within, you know? My personal favorite brushes for blush is the Zoeva 128 Cream Cheek and this really cheap Essence angled brush. I had this for years, I think, and it's one of my favorites to apply my blushes with just because it gives a really nice diffused look. Since it's so diffused, I can apply blush without going too overboard, usually. For contour, I really love using the Real Techniques contour brush. Since it's pointed and tapered, it's really nice to kind of seep into the hollows of your cheekbones and around your nose. This brush is perfect for contour in my opinion. It really diffuses the color when you want to apply your contour. Sometimes I use this for a highlighting brush as well, if all my other highlighting brushes are dirty. I'm not really a bronzer girl. Don't usually use bronzer, not as much as I used to, but I do like using this dual fiber brush just to get a really nice wash of color around the perimeter of my face. Sometimes I like to apply it just on my temples and just slightly on my cheekbones, just to give a bit more warmth to the look. Let's move on to the rest of the face. So these are all my favorite brushes for my face. I'm gonna move on straight to the eyes. So the first thing I like to do when doing eyeshadow looks is starting off with the crease. I personally like to use two brushes for that, either the MAC 36 or the 228 Luxe Crease brush from Zoeva. I'm going to use the Zoeva brush today. The reason why I love using this brush for my crease is because it's great transition because of the way that it's made. The brush is round but tapered and fluffy, so it really diffuses the color when you put it on the crease. Afterwards, I like to go in with a shading brush to kind of deepen that contour in my crease. So one of my favorite brushes for that is the Real Techniques shading brush. This is a pointed brush, but it is slightly diffused. As you can see, it is tapering off. So I like to dip into the shadow, whatever shadow I'm using on that day, and kind of just apply it on the outer corner really gently. Whenever you're going to use brushes on your eye, you always want to be gentle and not use too much force. Like that. I'm trying to use as many brushes as I can for this look, since I am trying to show you all my favorite brushes. So I love using this brush to kind of place color, but not necessarily, you know, blend it out. That's not the use for this brush. What I do like to use is something similar to the Sigma E25, which is specifically for blending eyeshadows together. So I'm just taking it clean and blending the two colors together, kind of marinate it. I'm also bringing it just on the outer corner to kind of give that smoky effect, which this brush is really good for. Another great alternative would be the 227 brush by Zoeva. This is their soft definer. It's quite similar to the Sigma E25, to be honest. The only difference is really that this one's a bit more tapered and flared out. But personally, I think it gets the job done either way. You just really want to invest in really good eyeshadow brushes. Clearly, I need to expand my range. When I want to pack color onto the lids, I really like using a flat, small brush like this. This is the Sigma E55 eye shading brush. I like picking up the product and pressing it onto the skin. Since this brush is small and thick, it's really nice to pack in any shadows on the lid. See? I'm just going to quickly blend that out later. For the lower lash line, I always go back to a personal favorite, and that is the Essence pointed brush. I think I've had this for a couple of years now. That's how much I love this brush. It really gets into any pointed brush will do. Personally, I do love this brush because it's cheap. I will admit though, it's a bit harsh on the skin, so if you're very sensitive, be careful. But it's really nice to kind of smoke out the colors underneath your eye. So my personal preference is I do like curling my eyelashes before I apply mascara. This I think I got at Wilko's for like £1. You can get it anywhere. I'm sure any is perfectly fine. I know Shiseido does one that's pretty good for Asian eyes, but I just stick to this one. So I've already applied my mascara. I'm going to quickly apply some eyeliner, my lashes, and my lipstick, and the rest of the outfit, and I'll be right back. And this is the finished look. I put on lashes, I put on lipstick. Everything I wore in this video will be mentioned in the description down below, as well as the tools mentioned. They're pretty good, highly recommend it. As you can tell, a lot of these products I've had for years. They're really cheap, from Essence to Zoeva to Sigma. These I think are pretty affordable compared to a lot of other brushes some people have. I think you should invest in some really good brushes, but that's not to say that there's some in the market that's at drugstore prices. If you like this video, do like, comment, and subscribe. My name is Bash Harry, and thanks so much for watching. Bye!